Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah Sachs, your medium on the go. And I couldn't resist the story of Cory Booker in his marathon filibuster that did actually go for over 25 hours. He beat out the last one, the record of Strom Thurmond's record of 24 and I think a little over 24 hours in 1957, going through the glories of segregationism. Well, of course, Senator Booker's speech was quite different. And of course, with the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, came to mind, and I just sort of feel that James Stewart on the other side would be very happy watching this, because this is something else, and I can't believe how he held it together. Now, I was kind of tuning in and out this afternoon, and I was very lucky to turn on a live stream just when he finished up and said, "Madam President, I yield the floor." And that was really something to behold. I think this is a very, very important event in what's going on today. So, as you see from the thumbnail, I have a still from the 1939 movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and Senator Booker today. And in between, I had the strength card as a statue of, with the Statue of Liberty as the female figure taming the mighty beast. So, what's important about this, on one hand, is that we have been, thanks to this present regime, it's that toxic whole sense of masculinity, but this was truly strength. And but strength isn't just a male trait. Strength is also a female trait, which I always like with the with the female figure, and just most decks being the symbol of strength. So it's both male and female. So to me, this is what it truly is all about, rather than the beating of the chest. To be able to stand on one's feet for over a day and be able to keep speaking. And at the end, he was very impassioned. He wasn't, I remember seeing Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that James Stewart is kind of like he can barely talk, and he's reading the Constitution and throwing papers in his tie. No, not Cory Booker. His tie was still intact, and he looked very fresh, which I found completely amazing. So what I want to see here is what impact is this going to have? I feel as though this is a very kind of like a very important thing. It is historical to see someone that breaks the record for giving a speech. And I will do a couple of shorties about how is this going to affect the Democratic Party now, and also the Republicans and the MAGAs. I'm going to say that they are not in a position to say, "Oh, those weakling Democrat liberals, and blah, we own them now," whatever. So I want to just see the effect that this is going to have. So I've been shuffling this deck. What is the impact of this? And I do call it historic. So here we have the Emperor. Kind of looks like him a little bit too. So this is a person that really takes command, and that is what the senator did. He really took command. He was passionate, yet restrained, and he took command of that whole chamber. So, which I should think could be a very inspirational thing for maybe some timid Democrats. So, I want to see the energy wise. We have this cross with, oh, interesting. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. I always look at this as the capture of the thief that's been getting away with so much stuff for so long. So he called it out over many, many hours. It's kind of like, you guys are busted now. And I believe that this is very likely a trend that's going on. So let's see what underlying this is. This is the balancing of money. Then we have the failed negotiation. And, oh, pentacles, interesting pentacles. Oh, more pentacles. And then looking at rethinking plans that were made and that maybe they weren't planned so well. So I would say that there could be a bill. Well, of course, all the bills do have some money involved in it. And I think that the underlying thing is that he is calling out the imbalance of the money of the very rich with the very rapidly disappearing middle class, that the two different parties are just, they're not able to talk or negotiate. And right here with this Seven of Pentacles, and also pointing out the fact that Republicans have dug themselves into a MAGA hole, and that the plans that they made are just not going to be coming through. So I did hear that those two seats, the special election in Florida, went Republican. But I didn't have any more hope for those, other than I have to look this up. I haven't had a chance to see if the races have tightened a little bit. They're very, very Republican districts, and I would say that probably in Republican districts where people have money, so they don't have to worry about the leopards eating their face. They pretty much want to hold on to what is theirs. And that, I was in Florida like 15 years ago, and I did notice that there is an attitude with the wealthy. We have everything, so screw you. We're not going to let any of these socialists get their way. And this was when the whole Affordable Care Act was going to be through, and there were posters about, oh, socialized medicine. Eek, eek, eek. So I'm not surprised, but I do want to find out later if the races are tightening. As I said, I just didn't have any great expectations. So in opposition of this is, oh, here we go. Always comes up. We have the Devil in reverse, which tells me that while many in the Republican Party are still tied to the devil, that since he's in reverse, he may the grip isn't as tight anymore. As I said in my April forecast reading, I'm seeing that there is beginning to get a shift, but it's not going to be, everything's going to flip overnight. But to me, this is like some seeds being planted. So I will be very interested to see if those races were tight or not. So in the conscious thoughts, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And I think this is, we'll be going for Cory Booker. That this is the card in this type of reading for Homeland Security, which is one of the things that I believe he probably, in 25 hours, I'm sure he covered everything. So this would be a talk about Homeland Security and how it is very threatened. I'm sure he went through that whole mess that happened, and that it's something that it's very precious that we need to hold on to. So all of this is a matter of national security, holding on to democracy. So and the fact that money needs to be distributed fairly. So then, subconscious thoughts. Interesting. The Nine of Pentacles is the worry that the oligarchs of this country and the world have kind of put themselves in a fortress with their riches and wanting more riches, and that they've kind of trapped themselves, and they really don't want to let go of it. So I would say that that's a driving force, and that's kind of what's going on underneath with a lot of Democrats, is how do we get the message out, and that we really do need to communicate this. So I would say that he did a very good job. This indicates he did a very good job of this. So let's see in the past what might have driven him to that. Okay. The Hierophant, which represents the government, the best that there is about the government and our institutions, and that we don't want to see them slip away. And that some of the things that the Republicans are doing is allowing executive orders to supersede them. So this is a very important thing that I think probably drove him to that, and maybe driving others to doing that. So let's see. In the present now, he must be exhausted. Okay. We have the Ace of Pentacles, which this means a number of things. It's not only about, although there's a lot of pentacles in here, it's not only about money and wealth, it's also about health. And it's also about the voters as well. So with this card, I would say this is inspiring, very much inspiring a renewal of the health of this country. And without knowing everything in this speech, that he has really presented a new idea of we're not down yet, and that we have a very we do have a very strong and healthy nation, and we plan on keeping it that way. So in the very near future, Ten of Wands in reverse. It's really time for us to unburden ourselves of all of the awful things that this administration has done. We're really kind of weighed down by all of this, and it's really time to let it go. So let's see what I'm going to put out here in the in longer terms. And this is the four. This is an interesting Four of Pentacles. It's in the other deck that he's got his feet on holding the pentacles down on the ground, the coins on the ground very firmly. He's hugging one, and then there's one that's part of the headdress. And this one, it looks like they're just about floating on. To me, this is saying it's really time for us to be shaking loose of some of the old beliefs and the things that the MAGA people want to hang on to so badly. So it's saying that there will be a loosening up of some old business that no longer works for us. So I'm going to pick a hope and fear card. Okay. The hope is that that in a speech like this, that and believe me, the world will be the whole world knows about this now, is that the rest of the world will. I mean, they know that we're not all horrible red hat wearing fascists, but what this is saying is that. Seeing something like this will probably get to our supposed allies, or the ones that once were allies, the message that there are some very impassioned people, so that there is hope that this too shall pass. I would say that the Two of Rods is the fear of, like, we really don't want this to take 2 years to happen. We really don't. So that is the hopes and the fears. So let me see an outcome of this, which would be the Five of Cups. And this is good in reverse, which is very good in reverse. This is all about just getting out of being stuck in the past. All the past baggage and the sadness that it has brought, and it's really time for us to move on. And usually I want to see if there's the bridge in. Oh yes, it's like way stuck in the back. That it's time to. It's really hard to see, but I think it's yeah, between him and the tree. Yeah, so. It's time to learn a lesson from these, but let's not stay stuck back in them, and that's the big problem. But this is saying that this is, since it's in reverse, it is the letting go, and it is letting go of all of like not living in the past, learning from the past mistakes, not living in them, but letting go. I really see that this speech is definitely the beginning, really the beginning of something big that could very well catch on. So I feel like I need to do a follow-up card for this. Okay. This is important, that with the Two of Swords in reverse, I think that there are a lot of especially Democrats, that are they know really what they need to do, but they've been afraid to do it. I believe that a speech like this for the length of time could be inspiring for them to say, okay, now it's time to take off the blindfold, maybe follow our hearts instead of staying in our head a little bit too much, and to really step up and stop being such Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guys. So big lesson to be learned in this whole thing is the Three of Pentacles. Yes, this is a card of negotiating. But I think what makes this a little bit different is, before I let go of this coin to make the final decision, you've really got to come and meet me in the middle. And you can see the expression on his face. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No, we're toughening up. We're not going to let go of this stuff until you give us something. So that is... I really believe that the big criticism with the Democrats is that they have been really like, oh, let's play nice, and I've gone over this before. I think the thing is that it's time to, it's not like you want to be horribly mean, but it's time to get tough. I think it's time to get tough and to grow a set. And I believe that Senator Booker really drove that point home. Is it is now time for us to toughen up because we've got to save the country. And this guy here tells me that he could very well end up in a very big leadership role with the Democrats in the Senate, and really be a, oh, we're not going to use this one. Okay, we're going to go to another one, and really be a good, a very good leader, and I want to say maybe more of a street fighter too. Let the MAGAs be the hillbilly drunken brawl fighters, and the Democrats become the street fighters. I think that this is really, and I'm guessing that this whole thing just really came out of the blue. I mean, I don't think anybody saw this coming. So what I want to look at now is, because this does lead into, how is this going to affect other Democrats who may have been lost in being a little bit timid, still post-election shock. What else? Wanting to be nice. Well, we know that doesn't work. And that they're going to have to fight harder since the Republicans maintain the, and I really didn't expect this to change, although I would bet that things could change, and it may not take till next year for the election. I think next year in the election it could be, but maybe the Democrats will get it back by a hair. But what I'm seeing is that there could be some defections, some retirements, enough to really make the MAGA sphere a little nervous. So okay, so let's see, how is this going to affect the Dems? So we're going to do this as a lesser thing. So let's see where they are now. Okay. The Seven of Wands in reverse. What I would come away with this is that they're not going to feel so outnumbered and challenged, because this is now in reverse. This is a very good one to be in reverse. Let's see, we got this. Oh, interesting. Rods, the element of fire. Oh, and the sun. Okay. So here we have, in the past, I would say that I think with this is very helpful, because I'm looking at this as maybe those two districts in Florida that they didn't get. It's they lost the battles but not the war. It's time to regroup, and what makes it important is that it came on the heels of this of the speech. So I just I feel as though they're just going to patch up their wounds, but they're not going to live in it, and they will be back to fight another day. Also want to say is that there is going to be, this kind of thing could very well have opened up some floodgates for other Democrats to come out into the, and it's interesting because in this card here, usually you have the little toddler baby on the horse, but here you've got a guy that's a little bit old. Looks like he's kind of a young adult. So this is some of some Democrats who might have been afraid that are going to be coming out in the sun and are more emboldened to take bolder moves. So this whole thing is very good, but it also is saying we're going to not live in these defeats, that they're minor. So, oh boy, I'm glad this came up by random. Here we have strength. And with this coming up on top of this, would say, these little setbacks only make us stronger. If that guy could stand up and talk for over 25 hours, we are going to get strength from this. And then we have the Knight of Wands in reverse, which is just a warning that we want to be fired up, but we don't want to be stupid like our opponents and burn the house down. So it's very wise in moving from a position of strength is to be very wary, as to show our strength in the proper way and not be burning the house down like they are. So that's, which is very tempting to do. It's very tempting to do. So it's just, she's kind of giving a little bit of a signal like, be careful of that. With strength, there is some restraint. There's power, but power with restraint. So don't do that. Okay, so then we have in this one, because of the way it falls in this spread, is that, okay, what we have done in the past hasn't worked. And this senator from New Jersey really showed that. So instead of living in regrets, just let's take a look at this. Then we're going to rearrange all of this. But we're only going to pause briefly, then we're going to move quickly. And this is part of comes right underneath the sun here. So this is the dawn of the new day. And it does go to the previous reading of, let's learn from the mistakes, but let's just not dwell in them too much. But we know now we have to do things differently. And I believe this is very optimistic, and that things will be done differently. Okay, which is very encouraging. Now there could be some setbacks, but it's kind of like this guy here is saying, but we're going to keeping on here. We'll just quickly learn from those mistakes, because it's a whole new day. The sun is out. It's a whole new day. We're going to do things differently now. So this is, so Republicans, MAGA, how is this going? How is this affecting them? This gets to the very interesting part of the reading. I think I'll just go back to this. Oh no, what I'll do is I'll get that other deck out here. Okay. And so we're going to see, give it a little shuffle so we don't have last night's reading. So we're going to see how this affects them. I mean, it was the cameras were really focused on him, so it's hard to say how they reacted. I'm sure they went, oh yeah, same old thing. But I think what this does is it may challenge. Yeah, you get up there and speak for now. Okay, you wanna own us? You get up there and speak for 26 hours. Okay, so should be interesting. So how this affects them is the Two of Wands. Kind of pondering their options for the future, and wondering how long are we going to last? Maybe doing some examination and looking, because he pointed out to how the rest of the world sees us, and maybe what they're saying is that holding the wand is like, well, how did we get there? We didn't exactly want this to happen, and still want to be isolationist, but not wanting the rest of the world to hate us. So then we've got this in the past. Okay. heartbreak and betrayal. And the Three of Cups, celebrating. Very interesting here. Okay, so in a lot of ways, deep down inside, I think I want to go into their own little private world where nobody else hears them, because that's what these cards are talking about. So, a lot of the feeling of all this stuff that's happened with their constituents back home, really hating on them, and feeling, and a lot of them are starting to feel betrayed and heartbroken by what their party has become. But they're trying to figure out ways of healing, trying to heal from all of this. I'm not sure that this speech tonight, since last night, has really given them a lot of hope. But then here we have them celebrating, still thinking that they have really won something. This may be, I think I have to put a couple clarifiers on this. This may be a celebration of not seeing what's really going on here. But that thing is that since they won, with quotes, back in November, there's been more nastiness than celebrating. So what are they celebrating here? Okay. Oh, they could be celebrating. Okay, I think a guy just crept in and said, they're silly. They're celebrating the wins in Florida tonight. That's what they're celebrating. Okay, but I feel like I need to just do a clarifier or two. Okay. So this is all a lot of female energy here. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Wands, which really, this woman really has it all together with motherhood, the professional world, all of that, and the black cat is saying, and she makes it look like magic, and the sunflowers represent summer, and I've always thought of this card as a Leo. So they're celebrating, I think, the victories, but summer's going to be very important. So summer is going, now, whether this could be opposing, I think I have to put more, whether this could be opposing or they find an ally that is helpful. Well, let's see. I'm going to put some more cards out here. So then we've got, okay, Queen of Cups in reverse. So this is coming below the Three of Swords in reverse. This is the needy, neurotic, manipulating queen. So could they be deceiving themselves that this is the time to be healing? Could they be in denial? Okay. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So this upright guy is the loyal knight. He's the hard-working guy. He's very methodical, but he is in reverse, which could mean the mercenary knight who is not loyal, but he will be on the side with whoever hands him this coin. So what that is telling me is that they're going to be more dependent on, it's kind of like Russia, with the Ukraine, with them invading Ukraine, is it they've depleted their own resources, so they're doing the rent-a-soldier mercenary thing. So this may be what the party is going to need to depend on, that they're going to have to be attracting the foot soldiers by paying them, that they're losing the loyalty. So this is a sign of desperation. This may be also going to the other countries in trying to shoot some money, or to say you get the aid if you do this, that kind of thing. So there is the corrupt element creeping in, which is incredibly misguided way to conduct foreign policy. So let's put a card on top of here. So we've got some very emotional stuff going on here, which is indicative that they may be running their campaign and that sort of thing on emotion more than logic, and that does come down to, well, if all else fails, blame the brown people and others that we wouldn't let join our country clubs. So this isn't very smart. So this is kind of coming up here with the Queen of Wands here, and that I want to say that there's going to be something about this speech that is going to come up in the summer with a very female energy coming up, and I would say that this may be the one that stops the celebration. So I'm kind of getting the fact that this could be this Queen of Wands could be someone on the other side that they hadn't expected. So let me put another, see what follows. Oh, here we do. Okay. So in this respect, there's something about they think that the money is the answer. There could be something about this that they may want to twist around and use as fundraising. And this does speak of the fact that since they think that money can buy everything, that there could be something of some desperation coming out of this. So this isn't quite the clearest thing. So I want to pull someone. What do I think they're going to be? I'll push these aside. So what are they going to be doing about this? Is kind of like the internal stuff. So what are they going to be doing about this? Is this really did show them up. So let's see if there's anything about actions that they're going to do. Okay, so we have, oh boy. Now we have Strength in reverse. So this is all about, as the weeks go on, they're going to find that this has put them more in a position of weakness. I will tell you, not that I think it would make any difference, but the people in Florida, I haven't heard about Wisconsin yet, but the people in Florida that voted, they didn't know. They really might have heard in passing a little bit about this filibuster type speech, but they didn't. They went about, I get a sense they went, and they couldn't care anyway. But okay, so they feel as though they've been weakened. They need to get their strength back. And but the thing is, they don't have a message. That this is the Ace of Wands in reverse. In reverse. They're not inspired. They don't have the inspiring message that the Democrats do now. So they need to do something. This is the whole thing. They may find themselves in a little bit of a, well, what do we do now? Which is what these cards are saying. Nine of Cups. Not so smug and complacent as they were before. Even with, this is interesting, even with this Florida win, they're and I think Wisconsin by now, let's see, what time is it? It's like, okay, it's late enough that you might know about Wisconsin. So the Nine of Cups in reverse is like, I don't think they quite know what to do or to make of this, except to maybe poo-poo it away, which is their... Okay, so then... yeah, this is telling me they really don't know what to do. I think a lot of this was still that false sense of security. They're worried. They're worried about this. But being worried can lead to doing some unwise things. So let's see, we have... Okay, Queen of Cups. If all else fails, go the victim route. And manipulate and go the manipulation route that you've been doing for your base. Although these say that may not be working anymore, but it's kind of like, well, I guess we'll just do what we have been doing. And then of course, we'll just run off at the mouth and say all the same stupid things without thinking, and let that horse just take us where it will. So what all of these are saying, the first set says that they're kind of like in denial, and they still want to live off of these victories for tonight, and that's what they're celebrating. But that's going to wear out. That will fade in the next news cycle. So I'll do what some of the other readers do. I do want to take a quick look and see what happened in Wisconsin. Come on up and let us see the Wisconsins. Hopefully we don't have a threesome disappointment, although that could be still in the vote counting. So Wisconsin, okay, Wisconsin. Election results. Okay. Drum roll. Crawford versus... Okay, New York Times. That's hard to get into, but let's see. Oh, wowie. Let's see. 45% of the votes in Susan Crawford. Yay. Boy, she's ahead. Oh, shut up, New York Times. Okay. So far, it looks as though I don't think they've called it yet, but it's looking good because she's ahead. Oh, 57.4 with her, and he is at 42. So we got to keep our fingers crossed for that one. Probably by the time you see this, we'll know, unless this is one of those things that tightens up and they won't know for days. So so far so good. So far so good. This is, to me, this may be even more important than those Florida ones. So I know this is getting a little off topic with the Cory Booker thing, but this could also be an indication that, yes, the tide is turning and that the muskrat doesn't have as much power. So I would say what these readings tell me is that even with the wins that the Republicans have had, especially in Florida, that this could really, what the senator did could really inspire not only the people like in the legislative branch, but a lot of Democrats to really get off their seat and get enthusiastic and not go into depressive boo-hoo over these losses in Florida. It wasn't looking good. I do want to look and see if they were close, which is encouraging. I know that the Republicans, Trump and all of them, were very worried, and they yanked that appointment so they wouldn't lose a New York seat. So I would say that We've got them on the run. That's what the whole Booker thing is doing, that we are going to endure. We're not going to give up. We're going to hang in there, and that to me is the big message of that. So, and Wisconsin looks encouraging. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Bye-bye.